NKC Art.
Okay, today is the final day on our abstract Picasso cubism portraits. It's either of yourself, someone you know, or a friend of yours. I did myself. I kind of did some short hair, some long hair on it. I've added my colored pencils, my markers in different areas, my textures, my patterns. And today we're going to paint. Again, if you're doing it at home, you may be using different materials, and that is perfectly fine. You can also do this on sketchbook if you do not have any supplies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some watercolor paint and go back over my areas and finish painting my picture. Now the key with watercolor paint is to have water on it. The drier your brush is, the harder it's going to be to spread out the colors. It'll be sticky, dark, messy, and it's just like you're constantly getting more and more paint. The wetter you get it, the better. You don't want it super wet, like a giant pool, to get like a big tear in your paper, but water is the key to watercolor paints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first dip my brush in water and pick out my color that I want, and then get it nice and get some nice color on my brush, and then just kind of fill in my areas. Now go slowly, because with the water it does seep out a little bit even on watercolor paper. So if you paint nice and slowly, especially in the small areas, you should be good. Between each color, don't forget to like dry off your brush. Here at school we either use paper towel or you can use one of my washcloths. Dry it off, rinse it off before you get another color. Put it back into the water and then pick your next color. And you're going to go around and paint in your picture. Sometimes if you have a lot of color on there already, you can just get a little bit more water and pull that color you already have on your paper out to fill it in. Again, if there's not a lot of water on your brush, it's going to be harder to stretch out those paints. I'm going around and painting sections that are not close to each other right now, just to give it a little bit of time to dry and sink into that paper before I add another color around it. It helps it not bleed as much into the other color. So I'm kind of picking areas that are kind of spread out from where I last painted. And I'm going and filling those in. Again, don't forget to wash your brush off and dry it off real good, and then get it back in the water before you go to another color. That helps keep our water paints in the classroom a little bit nicer and not as mixed together for anybody else that might use them in the classroom in the future. So I don't want purple. I'm going to dip it off. Now, on these areas where you've added some texture with colored pencil last week in class, when you paint over the top of them, let me see, I'm going to get some yellow for this area right here. Ooh, a little bit more water on that one. And when you paint over the top of them, you will see your texture or your pattern showing through your watercolor paint. And it won't smear it or anything like that. It keeps it nice and neat. So anywhere that you've added that with colored pencil, you'll see your pattern show through. This one not as good. I might have wanted to make my circles bigger, or maybe I should have chosen a lighter color like yellow. You can still see them though, especially the green is pretty light, and once it dries, you can still notice my bumpy or polka dot texture going on in the background. So again, I'm just kind of going around and painting my hair different colors, my face different colors. Maybe on my hair here, I'm going to just fill in some orange. Whoa, I need some water to spread that out a little bit. If you don't have much water on there, it's going to be a lot darker of a color too. And I want my patterns to show through even more. So I'm trying to get more water and spread it out. So instead of paint, I'm just going to dip a little bit more water and spread out the color I do have, and kind of have it going down the side. Maybe a little more paint, a little more water going on. You can just get a brush of water, put it on that color, and just stretch it out And you can even, if you keep stretching that color out, it can even start looking like it's fading over here on this side. And I can kind of use that fade to my advantage, because if I paint orange down here, I might not see my X's that I put in my hair as well. But maybe if I do like a little, it's kind of choppy right there and it's a little bit faded down, I can switch to a different color. So I'm going to wash my brush off and whoop, dry it off there, get some more water, and I can switch it up into a different color in the bottom of my hair. See how dark that purple is? If I add a little more water to it and then quickly spread it out, it will become lighter and I can see my pattern a little bit better. Ooh, that purple is very, very dark. So I'm just kind of going to go through and kind of spread it out. Just get water instead of paint. Spread out that purple, because that pigment, that paint color is already on there. And it's so dark that all I have to do really is add water to it to kind of smear it out and do that. So that's what we're doing today. You're going to paint the entire picture. And if you're in class, I will show you what it looks like when it's finished. If you are online, you can look on Canvas, and I have put an image on there of the final piece, so you can kind of get an idea of something you might like to do on your project. But this is what we're doing today, is we are just going in and filling in our painting with watercolor. I look forward to seeing your finished art. Don't forget to turn it into Canvas.